In this video, we are going to compare Behrouz Tabani in Dubai Pro Show and current Mr. Olympia winner Samson dauda. So we are going to compare these two athletes. So you can see Behrouz Tabani, he is looking quite conditioned, and the picture has so much exposure. I would say the pictures are very high in exposure. You can see the redness, but still you can see Samson dauda's physique. Both of the athletes have same height, and you can see the conditioning in Samsung dauda's height. So in terms of size, we can give benefit to Samsung dauda because he is slightly bigger than Behrouz Tabani, but in terms of conditioning, both are so impressive. And you can see the conditioning in Samsung dauda's physique in this pose. The V-taper is good, but still I would say the midsection is not that impressive, although he has improved from last 2 years, because from 2020 and 23 his midsection was so flat, but this year his midsection is looking improved from last 2 years. And the improved quads, you can see the striations, the depth in muscles, you can see the conditioning is good. So, and if we talk about Behrouz Tabani, recently we have seen lots of physique updates, so he is so impressive in terms of conditioning. You can see the quads are good conditioned, and the midsection is good, one thing I would say. And you can see the arms, shoulders are looking good, and the V-taper is looking good. So in this pose, Behrouz Tabani's symmetry is good. So overall, he's carrying a better balance, I would say. So this pose, I will give this to Behrouz Tabani. Let's talk about front double biceps. So in this pose, you can see Behrouz Tabani's conditioning. He's quite conditioned in this pose. And also you can see Samsung dauda's V-taper. The waist is so tiny in this pose. So earlier we have seen a front lat spread. Because of his midsection, I didn't give him first place, but in this pose you can see the midsection, the V-taper is looking impressive, and the quads, you can see the striations, the viscolarity, the depth in muscles. So he was looking so conditioned in 2024 Mr. Olympia. And at the same time, you can see Behrouz Tabani, he's looking good, but in terms of conditioning in upper body, I would say Samsung dauda is looking better. So in quads too, you can see the conditioning in Samsung dauda's quads, although his conditioning is not looking good in this picture, but if we increase the exposure, then you will see the difference. So you can see right now the exposure is high in this picture, so you can see the difference, the conditioning. So exposure can increase your conditioning, so you can see. So I'll give this pose to Samsung dauda. So let's talk about other pose, second pose, any side triceps. So again in this pose, Behrouz Tabani is looking good. His shoulders, triceps are looking good. His glutes, hamstrings are looking good. And if we see Samsung dauda's midsection is good. Shoulder arms are looking good, and even his quads are looking good. But his glutes are not that conditioned, and but still I would say Samsung dauda is looking better in terms of size and conditioning as well. And you can see the midsection is looking good from Samsung dauda's physique. So overall, according to conditioning and better balance, I would give this pose to Samsung dauda. So let's talk about back double biceps. And in this pose, you can see Behrouz Tabani's back. He's carrying a decent back. You can see the conditioning in middle traps, shoulders, lats, especially the glute side. The glutes and hamstrings is so impressive from Behrouz Tabani. And at the same time, Samsung dauda's V-taper is so impressive. His V-taper is just phenomenal, and he was the best in the lineup in Mr. Olympia 2024 in terms of V-taper. His V-taper was so impressive. You can see the density, the depth in back, and also the hamstrings area, calves. He was looking so phenomenal from this pose. But still I would say Behrouz Tabani's glutes are just so impressive and big. So he was conditioned from glutes and hamstring side. But one thing is for sure, that Behrouz Tabani has good glutes, but in terms of aesthetic, the Samsung dauda carries better aesthetics. The V-taper is so impressive, and also the muscle bellies, you can see the roundness. So just because of glutes, you can't deny the fact that he's carrying a best shape. The symmetry is good, but still according to back, upper body, the upper body is so phenomenal from Samsung dauda. So overall, I will give this pose to Samsung dauda because of his big size and conditioning. So let's talk about back lat spread. So then again, you can see the density in back of Samsung dauda is so impressive. You can see the middle traps, There is a huge muscle mass, and again Behrouz Tabani's glutes were looking so phenomenal in this pose, and also Samson daughter's hamstrings are good in this pose. But still, because of the huge size, the size was so huge from Samsung daughter in 2024. So because of his size, with conditioning, he beat Hardy Chupin and Derek Lunsford. Both of these two athletes, Hardy and Derek, has the best back ever. We have seen their glutes, their back, their upper body. They were so impressive from back. So he beat them. So definitely you can see the exposure high in Behrouz Tabani. But still, if you observe deeply, you will realize that Samsung Dauda has better size and conditioning. So now let's talk about abdomen with thighs. So in this pose, Samsung Dauda was so improved from last 2 years, because we have seen him last 2 years, 22 and 23. His abs were not contracted like this. You can see right now his contraction of abs are impressive. The depth you can see, even obliques are better this year, and quads we have already seen the conditioning in quads. And in terms of midsection, you can see Behrouz Tabani still he's looking sharp, but from the oblique side you can see he's looking good. The midsection is looking good. Overall he's looking good, but it is very tough to compare with this picture, because the symmetry is not looking that perfect, because the upper body of Behrouz Tabani is looking smaller in this pose, and at the same time you can see Samsung Dauda's physique, his lats, the serratus interior, the chest and the arms, they are looking good and big. So we can give this pose to a Samsung Dauda according to big size. So in most muscular pose, you can see Behrouz Tabani's physique. She is looking so impressive in this pose. You can see the striations in the body, and also you can see the Samsung Dauda. So I'm going to increase the exposure in Samsung Dauda's physique, so we can compare. Even after increasing the exposure in Samsung Dauda's physique, still Behrouz is looking so impressive. You can see the conditioning in Behrouz Tabani's chest, midsection, even quads are looking so impressive. And also you can see Samsung Dauda's physique. So we have seen him in Mr. Olympia. So judges prefer this Samsung Dauda's most muscular pose over Hardy Chupin. So you can understand that Hardy Chupin has the best most muscular pose, but judges prefer Samsung Dauda over Hardy Chupin. So this was very shocking from the judges, but you can see Behrouz Tabani is most muscular. So again you can see the striations in chest, shoulders, arms. He is just giving 3D look, and also you can see the quads are so conditioned, the separation in muscle, the depth. I would say Samsung Dauda has better depth in muscles, but still in terms of conditioning in this picture Behrouz Tabani is looking better. But overall most of the poses are better from Samsung Dauda. So Samsung Dauda will definitely beat Behrouz Tabani. So let's see what improvements he is going to make. I'm talking about Behrouz Tabani in 2025, because he signed the contract with Panata Nutrition. So there are chances that he will qualify for 25 Mr. Olympia, and he'll get the visa for competing in Mr. Olympia. So we can see him in final call out. Yes, definitely I'm sure that Behrouz Tabani is going to be in top 5. So let's see what improvements he'll make in future. So this was the comparison. I hope you liked the video. Very soon we'll see you with new video. Till then, bye bye.